In this video, I'm going to compare the movie Shark Tale, which is one of the DreamWorks animated films, to actually another DreamWorks movie called The Bee Movie. Honestly, I don't think either of these movies are some of the best DreamWorks films, and I don't think a lot of people are going to argue that either one of these are top tier DreamWorks films. Pretty much everyone agrees they're some of the weakest DreamWorks films. In the case of Shark Tale, I think the big problem here is you have a main character who sure is played by a very talented actor, Will Smith, but he's just a really unlikable jerk for a lot of the runtime. You go, oh, this guy's a douchebag. He's just irritating. I don't like spending time with him. And then there are pop culture references that I think haven't aged well. The way the sharks are portrayed feels stereotypical to me. And sure, when you get to the final scene, there's a little bit of growth for a main character, but I think it's too little too late. In the case of Bee Movie, I think the big problem here is that the central premise feels so creepy, where you have a case of bestiality, where this bee enters into a relationship with a human woman. You go, oof, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Plus, you have this guy who likes the girl who the movie makes out to be a villain, but when you think about it, you're like, no, this guy's not actually a villain. The movie's painting him that way, but it makes sense actually why he would be really unhappy about this. You go, yeah, I totally understand that. That's exactly how I would react too if there's a girl that I liked that started to want to go out with a bee. You'd go, well, that's weird. What are you doing? That's creepy. Why aren't you more interested in the bee than me? From there, story isn't really all that interesting. I don't think the characters are all that interesting. It gets pretty wacky, to be honest, where you have bees that are involved in a court case. Then they take away all the world's pollen and give it back by the end. It's just like, what are we doing here? So, in terms of which movie I like more, and it's hard to say. I've seen both of these movies only one time. I watched them for the first time recently. They're not ones I really ever want to rewatch. Which one's slightly not as bad as the other? That's an interesting question. I. It's hard, but I have to say Shark Tale, frankly, because it doesn't have that incredibly creepy, weird central premise that the Bee Movie does. But I still really don't like Shark Tale very much. So I'm just saying that Shark Tale is slightly not as bad as the Bee Movie is. But frankly, these two films are pretty close to each other, in my opinion. I don't even have too much to really say about either one of them. I mean, sure, it's nice that in the Bee Movie you have Jerry Seinfeld in there. It's like, okay, that's cool. But for the most part, I don't think this is a really good DreamWorks movie. I think pretty much everyone will agree. DreamWorks has both put out some great movies, Prince of Egypt, first free Kung Fu Panda movies, How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2, Puss in Boots The Last Wish, Wild Robot recently, but they've had some misses in there for sure. Ants, Shark Tale, Bee Movie, the Trolls films, Boss Baby. And a lot of ups and downs for sure, but that'll wrap things up for this video right now.